thanks.
Yeah.
No.
It's part of me is always a little afraid of telling people, that they are, because maybe it's okay that you don't. Like I'm like, no. I want you to write another one of those beautiful, shows where that's a little bit about not quite getting it. So that's fine. You don't need to know.
You need to be sad to write.
I don't actually believe that.
No, me either.
Nor would I take away your happiness in any way.
Oh, thanks. I don't believe that either. I'm like, I could be happy and be funny still.
Yeah. You just make jokes about different things.
You're right.
In fact, I try really hard not to be so cynical, in comedy, because there's a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I try to prefer to get out of, I don't like making jokes that way. I don't not let people around me make those jokes, but I certainly try to, I don't know, be more pleasant.
I get that.
The idea that it's not just like this asshole.
Right.
Not everyone, you don't have to be mean to everybody.
Yeah. Or just make it super absurd, I guess. I don't know. I'm super into absurd stuff, sketches, performing, rather than people ask me, I don't know if you guys seen the cupcake video. Yep. Someone asked me, so what were you trying to say with that?
Really?
I'm like, nothing. Are you saying that women are I'm like, nope, I didn't say anything about women. I was just eating a cupcake.
Oh my God. Isn't that I'm with salad?
Yeah. I was like, no.
Which is so funny that you call it the cupcake video when it's I'm with salad.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy, because I'm writing it down. Thanks for nothing, Vanessa. Sorry. I was going to Google the wrong thing.
But I always...
cupcake video.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not trying to make a statement or anything. I'm just talking about me or my experiences,
Have you run into that a lot? Where you write a thing, and because I feel like sometimes there are moments where I am trying to say something with a particular project, but then there are other times where I'm not trying to say anything. I just thought this was a funny premise, right. and then people are going to perceive it the way that they want to, and so does that happen a lot? Oh, hey, you did this thing. Let me attach my own my own meaning behind it.
Oh, yeah. I think that's gonna happen, with anything, and some people could are offended by whatever you do, or but yeah, usually anything that I write or do is just coming from personal experience. I try to be as honest and raw as I can, vulnerable. But yeah, I guess sometimes people take it a different way or whatever, But it's not there are a lot of writers that can write with intent to make a statement or be political and stuff, and that's super awesome, and I don't write like that, or I'm not as informed about things or a lot of political things to write about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I just write about me. Keep it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's for me. But yeah, I admire people that can do that. Like CJ also, he's a great satirical writer, and a lot of people are.
Every time I've ever seen you do stand-up at an open mic or anything, it seems like everybody is so, once you get into your material, I always feel like the audience sort of is thank God for a second that this isn't, angry or, I don't know, negative in some way towards either the comic who's doing it or something else.
Cool.
I don't know. I always feel like everybody kind of loosen up once you get into your second, and always I don't know, the response is always really warm too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
like I said, I'll talk about working with kids or my boyfriend or whatever, just normal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not real good at making one-liners. That's what it's my week. I'm not tell stories, which sometimes sucks when they're 4 minutes, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, totally.
It's too short. But yeah, I think I guess I should work on that, because a lot of I went on an audition recently, and they were like, "You have 2 minutes to do stand up," and I was like, I don't have anything. I tried, but nothing really.
I took a workshop. I believe it was with David Crabb, who comes and does the storytelling.
I took his workshop.
occasionally.
Yeah, me too.
And
we took it together.
No, not together. I think we did all separately.
Yeah, all at different times. Yeah. But we had this conversation about how to tell stories and like what you're telling them for in the group that we were in. And he was like, if you need to tell a story, you might have to tell it in different ways in different places. So you need to learn how to tell the same story in different time periods. So like you can, if it takes you 10 minutes to tell this story, figure out how to tell that story in 5 minutes, in 2 minutes, in 1 minute. And he was like, you never know what you're going to need it for. And I think a lot of the girls in the workshop that I was taking were like established storytellers in town, and they were very much there to be like, tell me how to make myself crisper or whatever. And so his notes were very like, okay, this is what you need to do. So he like gave us a little like, just a little breakdown of the way you build a story, and it's easy enough to just sort of go add some details, and you get to live in that or just that. But it's almost like the metaphor. I don't know if you've heard. There's a metaphor in the curriculum right now about the game of the scene being the trunk of the tree, and then the details that you get to add being the branches. And sometimes when I write, I just write trunk and then add some branches later. Because I'm like, no, what happens, this happens, this happens, this
bullet
happens.
Points,
Or like game pieces where it's like, B1, B2, B3, done. Okay, now let's add on all the rest of the details. And I feel like that's kind of the way of like breaking it down in that way. So you can tell your stories in 1 minute. You just have to cut it down to the tiniest details, and then that'll be able to do it. You don't necessarily have to. You don't have to go hack and be set up punchline or anything. But I like how standard format I'm calling hack right now.
Like it's regular.
Whatever, it's like vanilla. But like that way you can do your stories that you want to tell that have the feeling and the meaning, but find a way to tell them real tiny like.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard because I did it with like I'd say it's like a 4-minute story, and I tried to say it in 2, and it was just like it just didn't work. But I hadn't like practiced it or anything. It like caught me off guard. I should have it handy.
No, but I mean, also having the ability to, like, for instance, when you were in the neighborhood, and that one day you're doing your intro monologue, and you could tell that we were having technical difficulties in that moment, and so you just kept talking for a little while. And I've watched it over and over to try to figure out where it is that you like are. Okay, let's do this. But you're so smooth that I was like, this is what the story is. This is how this works out. I
was hosting the neighborhood, and I was just going to do like 4 or 5 minutes, but then I saw like 5 guys run to a camera. So I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep talking then.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I remember some of your stand-up from that, and you were talking about like the daycare thing and like your boyfriend stuff, and I remember just like that really pleasant story about that kid who like says that every day is his birthday, and like, we can't, that was so just like, it was so pleasant and just like a really good joke.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's not even like, it's just real. Like, that's the thing too. I'm like, it just does happen like every day. He thinks it's his birthday tomorrow. He's like, oh, my birthday's tomorrow. I'm like, no, okay. Sure. I'm like, is he like, like 51st dates? Like, he forgets. And we have to tell him every day that it's not his birthday tomorrow.
Oh my God.
He lost his memory the day before his birthday.
He's also 45 years old in your class.
He's in preschool. We have to tell him every day.
But
he's
none
45.
of the teachers can figure out, I don't know if he has a mental thing or...
He looks great.
This is one long performance piece that we've all just been passing down.
That's funny. I had a kid this week. We were reading like a book in Spanish, and he was like, how do you know Spanish? What's Spanish? What is that? And I was like, oh, well, I know Spanish because my parents are Mexican. I grew up like speaking Spanish. And I was like, oh, Jessica, like another student, her parents are also Mexican. And I was just going with that. And then he's a white little boy, and he said, I want to be Mexican. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to talk about something else now. But then as soon as his mom gets there, she was like, oh, hi, how's your day? And he runs up to her, and he's like, Mom, I want to be Mexican. I'm like, what? This looks bad. Like, your teacher's telling you about... I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk about race at school. Sorry. We're all the same. We're all the same.
You never know. You never know how kids like consume things or like take them in, you know, or what
like,
that means to them. You're like, it's not a thing. You can be.
I was like, you can speak Spanish. It's fine. You don't have to be Mexican. I said the wrong things, and he like latched onto it. I should have just said, anyone can learn Spanish. Damn it.
Oh, that's all right.
Like, not you.
I wonder if you even would try to, if you would even be able to remedy that by telling them, like, oh, hey, like, remember the other day when, like, you mentioned you wanted to be Mexican, but, like, what I should have said was this, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's not even going to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
how old are the kids?
No, they're 3.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to remember.
They're like, no.
I'm surprised
what a
he
day-to-day
maintained.
adventure that is, though.
Yeah.
Like, every day is going to be a new thing where you're just like, don't run to your parents saying something. You
They have to
took out of
watch,
context.
like, everything we say, because they, like, will repeat immediately. Like, they hear the word and they're like, huh? Like, last time I was just like, oh, I have real bad cramps. And I swear they started chanting, cramps, 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 cramps. And I was like, stop! Why are you doing this? They were like, cramps, cramps. They don't know what they just thought it was a funny word.
I guess it's a satisfying word.
And they were just chanting it. I'm like, seriously? You guys are the worst.
I'm also like imagining you like sitting down, like holding your sides, just like squint it.
Yeah, like stop yelling. It was so bad. Yeah, just like anything. So we always have to like spell words to each other, me and my co-teacher, or because they're just like they're like, huh, what?
I remember spelling words. My parents used to spell stuff a lot.
Yeah.
I became an excellent speller.
From listening to them.
I would try to figure it out. I'd be like,
I'm a bad speller, so it's hard for me. I'm always like, huh?
See, I remember as a kid, my parents doing that to me, like when they wanted to curse. So I thought, like, spelling it was the way that you could just curse without. So I did it in class. I did it in class, thinking that, like, oh, just spelling it negates the badness of it. Because I can spell.
No one knows what I'm saying.
Yeah, like I could spell very early on. So I was just like, all right, fuck. All right, next day I said fuck. No, but yeah, like in class, I remember spelling ass. Like I just wanted to spell. Like I had to go to the bathroom, and I said something about needing to use, or like needing to go use my ASS or something, and she was just like, go to the principal's office. What the fuck was that? Why are you like, I was like, but I spelled it. What do you?
I need to
Why are you
go.
being such a bitch?
Yeah.
I like the idea that your teacher's response was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah. Why are you smiling while you do that? What
If
is
a
this
kid
right now?
came up to me and was like, I need to go use my ass,
Yeah.
I think that was so great. I'd be like, okay,
Please do. Please go
it.
on. Yeah.
I'd be impressed too if a 3-year-old said that. I'd be like, oh, good.
I'm
Good.
glad you know what that is.
No. I'm glad that you don't just surprise me with it after having used it. You know,
Right.
like.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, so just sort of finally to wrap up, I wanted to just sort of ask you, you know, like, what do you think if you had to give we asked this of Kim McDonald. If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody who is just starting out, and like they don't know how to